Hey there, fifth graders. Today is Wednesday, October 14th. It is a distance learning day for everyone. And the assignment for today is this lovely form. Sorry. It has 10:14. I know my screen is backwards. I did not bring my dock camera home, or the one where you can lay it on the table and shine over. I forgot it. It's sitting on my desk, and it was meant to get shoved in my bag, and it didn't. But it's one with 10:14. It also has the little kid sitting in a tree. We are going to read the story, answer the 6 questions, and do the writing. Yes, I'm forcing you to do the writing. I'm sorry. I know you love it and hate it and just wish I could say you're done for the day after it. You have to do it. Sorry. I am going to read the story. Normally I would have you read parts of it, but since I can't have you take turns and I can't help on words that you get stuck on, I'm just going to read it for today. If you want to read on your own, feel free to skip through me reading this, and you can read it on your own. You don't have to listen to me as long as you're able to read it and understand it, because it gets tricky to do the questions if you don't understand it. Our title today is A Magical Discovery Time. Think about what that could be. I want you to make a prediction. Using your brains, make a prediction. What do you think the story is going to be about based on the picture and based on the title, A Magical Discovery Time? What could that be about? Magical is kind of, usually when that word's used, we might automatically think of magic or something that maybe is not real, made up. Discovery time, maybe he's finding something new, investigating, making a discovery, if we use that actual word. So those are some things we can think about and see what is going to happen in this story. Let's find out. From a young age, Chester knew he was different. He had a feeling inside that he had special powers. There's that magical piece coming in. Chester knew this, yet he decided to keep it a secret. He was not sure how his family would feel or whether his friends would understand. Kids do not always want to feel different from others, and Chester was no exception. So I think about that. When I was in 5th grade, I did not want to be different from anyone else. I didn't want to seem different. I didn't want to be strange, I guess is the way you could put it. And some of you might be able to relate to Chester and myself with that, where you kind of you don't want kids to kind of notice you being unique or different, which is great to be unique. Now I like it. But I understand how Chester can feel in that situation. So the first clue came when he was 4 years old. He was playing in his sandbox in the backyard when he saw a beautiful butterfly in the sand. He put it on his hand. Then he realized the butterfly was dead. Chester felt so sad about the butterfly that he began to cry, and his tears started to fall down his face. A tear fell on the butterfly, and in an instant, the butterfly came back to life. Chester could not believe his eyes. So he had this butterfly in his hand, and he realizes it's dead, and he gets so sad that it's dead, he begins to cry. And as he's leaning over this butterfly crying, some of his tears fall onto the butterfly. And magic, the butterfly is back alive. Be a cool superpower to have. Just saying. Another time when Chester was 5 years old, he decided to climb a tree. He climbed so high that he felt stuck. He was not sure how to get down. He suddenly had the urge to let go of the branch and see what would happen. What do you think is going to happen when he lets go of a branch? He's up in this tree. Chester was amazed. He sailed gently through the breeze and flew right down to the ground. Chester flew! He wondered what other secret powers he might have. It took Chester years to figure out what made him special. By the time he was 8, he knew all of his powers. He could bring things back to life. He could fly. He could see through walls, and he could even hear things from a great distance. These skills excited him. Yet he also felt very alone. No one else could know about these powers. He didn't know anyone else who had them. So Chester has a super cool thing where he has all these magical powers. He can see through walls. He can fly. He can make things come back alive. And he could hear things from a great distance. I was trying to read back to find the last one because I forgot. He has all these super cool things, and he wants to share with people, but he can't because he doesn't know how they're going to feel. So that ends up making him feel extremely lonely. And we're reading Bridge to Terabithia. And that kind of relates to that story as well with Jess. Jess, our story in that character, has all these wonderful drawings, and he just wants to share them with people, especially his dad. But he knows his dad doesn't approve, and everyone else has always said it's a waste of time, waste of space, all of this stuff. And we've discussed while reading this that Jess feels extremely lonely. So that's how Chester's kind of feeling in this situation. He has a super cool thing, and he wants to share it with his friends and family, but he doesn't know how they're going to react. So that then makes him just kind of sad, which is a bummer. But then one day, he walked into his 3rd grade classroom. He was early. He was the first student there. Then Fiona walked in. She seemed to appear out of nowhere. When she came into the room, she stopped and looked at the wall. "I guess room 215 has a substitute teacher today," she said. Chester stopped in his tracks. How did she know that? Room 215 was next door. Could Fiona see through walls? He was puzzled. Then he saw the smile on Fiona's face as she stared at him. He knew he had found a partner in magic. So he found someone who has the same thing as him. And if we were further in Terabithia, I could even relate this more, but we're not, and I don't want to give spoilers. So he ended up finding someone who understood him. Think about how that would make him feel. He went from being sad and lonely and having no one. Now he has someone. Think of that happiness, the elation, another word for happy, that he would have knowing that someone understands what he's going through. I know if I was alone, it would feel great to have someone who understands me. We are now on the question page. Woo woo. My excitement is probably one-sided, and I'm sure that you're all like, we have to do it. You can pause and play as much as you need. If you need more time to think through, pause this video. If you want to listen to me read the question 500 times, go for it. Nothing stopping you there. Probably not the most exciting thing, even though I know I'm very wonderful and amazing, but if you need to listen to it multiple times, feel free to rewind as needed. You don't need to watch this only once. Number 1, what prediction makes sense after reading this title? So remember we talked about making predictions at the beginning based on the title and what we thought it could be about. And we discussed the word magical and discovery. What prediction makes sense? A, this story must have a happy ending. Can we tell that from the title? B, this story includes magic. Think about the title, A Magical Discovery. And we had used those words as little clues on what it could be about. So does B make sense? The story includes magic. A magical discovery. Hint, hint. C, this story happens during a single day. Does our story happen during a single day? Was that something that we predicted or knew was going to happen? D, this story takes place at a circus. Did it take place at a circus? Circling answer, and we're moving on to the next one. Number 2, what is the author's purpose? Author's purpose, once again, is why the author wrote the story. Why would someone write this story? Was it A, to compare Chester and Fiona? Do we say Chester's like this, Fiona's like this is how they're the same, this is how they're different? B, to engage readers and have them use their imaginations. Okay, so did it engage us, like give us an interesting story, and maybe give your imagination, like give you something new to think about, something creative and unique? Could be. C, to teach readers how to use magic. So did it give us directions on how to use magic? Say, this is what you do to use magic, this is what you need. Did it give us those specific, like, how-to directions? D, to explain about substitute teachers. Did this entire story focus about substitute teachers? If you circle that one. And I have a couple of you who would say your names right now that I know would do it giggling in my room right now. Don't do it. 3, who might have the closest connection to this story? So who could understand this story the best? A, a 3rd grader who likes to fly in airplanes. B, a child who often feels different and alone, but suddenly finds a good friend. Do you think they could relate to Chester? A person who does not believe in magic. They do not think it's real. Could that person relate to this story where it's about Chester who has magical powers? D, an adult with good vision. So that means they can see really well. Is that person going to relate to Chester in this story the best? Think about that one a little. 4. How does Chester feel about his magical powers? How does he feel about it? A. He feels lucky. B. He feels excited, happy, but also alone. We had talked about that. C. He feels frightened, like he's scared of them. Was Chester scared? D. He feels special. I know a couple of these, you'd be like, well, he is, or well, he might be. Think about the one that best fits our story and how I described it as we were reading. Okay, there might be a couple where you're like, could be. Go with the best option. 5. Which theme applies to this story? Theme is what is trying to teach you and tell you. A. Keeping secrets can keep you safe. Do you think that's the main message that this story is telling us? That if you keep secrets, you'll be safe? B. Having a friend makes life less lonely. Could that be the message? Think about what we talked about Chester and how he's going through life and all that. Could that be it? C. Grown-ups do not understand kids. Was this story about a grown-up not understanding Chester? D. Substitute teachers are horrible. Was that the main message of this story? Was this whole story about how there's a horrible substitute teacher? 6. What other type of text is similar to this one? So what other type of story, when it says text, it's story. What other type of story is kind of similar or same to this one? A fantasy about aliens. B, a how-to, a book on magic. How-to book on magic. D, a realistic fiction story about being different and finding friendship. Think about how I related this to Terabithia. D, a nonfiction adventure. Is this really an adventure story? I want you to circle all of your answers. Then the next in-person day, I had to think about what I wanted to say. The next in-person day is either going to be Monday or Tuesday because you're doing this on a Wednesday and it's a long weekend. The next in-person day, I will just grab your packet from your folder because you're supposed to bring it to my room. I'll grab your packet and take it and I can grade it there if you want to know right away. Otherwise, I'll grade it at a different time. But do those 6. We're not going to grade now because I'm not going to state the answers in this video because I know some of you would just take all those. None of you would do that, no. Now we're going on to our writing page. Right here. The question that you're going to write about is, think about the special powers that Chester has and is able to use. What superpower would you like to have? What would you do with your power? Now, our journal for next week is actually going to be similar to this, so I'm only going to make you do 2 sentences, because next week I'm going to have you put more details on your superpowers, but for today I'm just going to have you do 2 sentences, because I know you're going to, next Friday, you're going to be like, we just did this. I know, I'm sorry if I was thinking when I send all this home. Probably wouldn't have done that, but it is what it is. So, 2 sentences. Think about the special powers that Chester has and is able to use. What power would you want? For me, I've mentioned this probably to your class a million times. I would want to be able to teleport. I would want to be able to think, right now, I want to be in Hawaii. Snap my fingers, boom, I'm in Hawaii. I'm on the beach, it's nice out. Or, for me also, because you know you have to get up early for school, I could be at my house and go, I want to be at the school, bam. And then I'll be at the school and I don't have to drive. Which some of you know I have a long drive. I drive 40 minutes. So then I'm instantly there. So that would be my dream superpower, is to be able to teleport. Now you might want invisibility, or maybe you want it where you snap your fingers and instantly, boom, there's your food that you're hungry for. So if I'm hungry for pizza, a pizza would show up right in front of me. So like in your brain you can think of a food and then it's right there. You can come up with whatever crazy superpower. It doesn't need to be one that you've seen before, like flying or walking through walls, or you might want to choose like Chester and do an animal making like things come back alive. That would be kind of cool, like being able to heal stuff. I did that like I had a cut on my hand. You can come up with crazy ones though too, like thinking of food and it's instantly there and stuff like that. So come up 2 sentences. What is a superpower? What would you do with it? So I would have the superpower of teleportation. I would teleport to Hawaii. That would be my 2 sentences. Or if you want to fly, be like, my superpower would be to fly. I would fly around the sky. So whatever you want to be. If you want invisible, I would have invisibility. I would use it to listen in on people talking. No, never. That is all you're going to need to do today for me. It's just this entire packet. Bring it back to me on your next in-person learning day, either Monday or Tuesday. And I hope you all have a fantastic long weekend. You've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days without school. And I will see you next week. Keep up the great work. Bye.